iPad Air motherboard. Let me show you what's going on. Okay, so the shop replaces these ports, and they had a little accident where he went to grab the board and it got caught on something and ripped off some pads on the board. So our job today will be to fix this situation. Now, however, he didn't do too bad of a job. This could have been much worse. Let's see if I can get this at an angle where you can see. So these guys here are all ground. We don't really have to worry about any of them, and a couple of them have a little bit of pad left that we can make connection with for strength. This right here is really, I mean, we still have to clean these up and get the solder off, but this is really the only pad I see that could be, that is a problem. It is a signal line. We have to replace that signal line, but that's it. It looks like a, you know, pretty straightforward. I will probably attempt to use a lug on this and for that to do that repair. So let's get started. I'll get set up and be right back. Okay, we're back. I had changed to indirect lighting because I want to be able to see the tracks and stuff while we're working. While I'm setting up my equipment, let me throw up our temperatures. Expected temperatures for this job. I do not expect to have to use the hot air on this job. Okay, switching back to microscope. I was starting to get started without you. We're just going to wick this up carefully. We're going to go with the pads just so, because I don't know which ones may be weakened. And we are just gliding. We're not putting any pressure. We're just putting enough pressure to put, you know, let heat course through the wick, but other than that, we're just gliding. We're not scrubbing here. This is not a scrubber. Not a Brillo pad of any type or something like that. Alright, grabbing my grinding pin, and we're going to grind back that track a bit. Make it a nice long runway here. Alright, let's tin our runway here. Should be adequate. I'm going to change positions to make getting this lug on here a little easier. Okay, so with the lugs, like the last video I did with using the lug, we do this kind of in an opposite way as we do regular jumpers. We are going to have to secure the lug down first and then solder it. Well, that's the way I'm going to do it anyway. I found it to be easier to do it this way. So what we're going to do is put some solder mask right here. Just a little, not a lot. Just enough to secure the lug. Tack it down. Okay. Alright, let's have a look at our lugs. I may have to use the bigger ones today. Okay, that looks pretty good. Grab our UV protected glasses. And for this part, we will use the laser. A little bit of heat to that, just to make sure we get under the lug as well. There you go, that's enough. Alright, let's get a little flux in there. Oh no! And this can be the pain of doing these. Alright, so I think I'm going to just solder it then. See if we can get it lined up and just do it that way, because that's being a super pain. I don't want to have to clean out the flux and everything again. So normally that works, but for whatever reason. Alright, excellent. I think that'll work. You gotta be able to pivot and adapt your approach when something isn't working. Alright, so I do want to run this. I do want to run some solder mask up this line just to add some more security to it. So I'm just going to cut it off back here. Next phase will be to secure it. We want the solder joint well covered, but not in a way that's going to be interfering with placing the new port ribbon. Dot flex or port, whatever you want to call it. Thin out the thick stuff. I don't really care about it being a kind of a mess up here. Okay, next step will be I'll grab my UV lamp. I'll just put it on the board. I'm just going to walk away, grab a quick lunch, and then I'll come back. It should be more than well cured, and then we'll continue. Okay, we are done curing, and everything should be pretty solid now. I'm not worried about this thing moving. Okay, for tinning, as always, you just put a nice bead of solder on the iron, and we're just kind of rolling that bead over the pads. We're not making a whole lot of contact with the iron itself. Okay, nice puffy pillows. Now I'm going to be trying something a little different with my port install. I was watching Jason Vilmer, Telecom. I was watching his method, and I just kind of want to try it, and see if I like it. I felt it was an interesting approach, so, and I always like to try new methods when I see them. You can always improve, and you should always be open to improvement. Just tack it down. Alright, so we're just going to go pad by pad here. We're just kind of waiting for the little kind of smash down feel. We're not actually adding solder to this. We're letting the solder come up through the pads. There we go. That was the feeling I was looking for. Kind of like a crunch down. Seems like it's going to take longer. My first impressions of it. I'm going to have to flip this around just to make sure I don't lean into those connectors. Plus I need to get the iron a little flatter. With the lug, this method will probably be better because I will be able to kind of tell when the solder comes through. That is soldered. Rather than running solder over it. Seems pretty solid. I'll clean it off and then we'll perform a test and see if it tests out. Okay, we're going to perform a test of our freshly soldered port. Sorry it's upside down, but I don't want to get this board into a position where I can break it. I've done that before. It's not fun to have to pay for these devices. Okay, looks like TriStar and VCC main and the dog flex have passed. We're also going to get secondary confirmation from our TriStar tester. This one I'll probably have to fast forward through. Good dog flex. That's the important part for this job. I really wish I had a fast forward. And pass. Okay, I got one more test I would like to perform, and that is the Power Z. So I'll set up for that, and we'll be back. Okay, let's take a look at Power Z, see what it does. Okay, well that looks relatively normal to me. I don't know if it's actually, functioning normally. They'll have to test it thoroughly at the shop, but that looks pretty good. Okay, in summary, we had an iPad Air, I believe an iPad Air 2, with some ripped traces. It turned out most of them were ground, so it wasn't a big deal. We had to replace one, so we used a lug. The lugs are pretty elegant solution if you just have like one or two traces. I wouldn't try it for like if that had been like 14 traces, I would have run jumpers. But yeah, they work pretty good. So that's really it for this repair. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.